where we've got one of the last remaining factions for the faction focuses kind of being showcased, and that today is the Votann. There, as per usual, is the 3 different detachments that they have showcased and kind of told us about. There we go. Before that, just going to go through about kind of the terrain rule they shared, just so then don't have to kind of back and forth. So they kind of clarified, and as far as we know, there are 2 types of terrain: exposed or light. All models can move horizontally and vertically through exposed and light terrain features. There might be a slight clarification between exposed and light when it tells us about terrain types. Maybe light provides cover, exposed doesn't. I would guess is the kind of understanding, or it has something to do with hidden. You can't be hidden in exposed terrain, maybe. Hopefully we'll kind of find that out soon enough, so it's kind of as the guessing game gets less and less as we get closer to the edition launch. And then we have dense. Kind of this functions fairly similarly to a lot of the way in which models move through terrain in 10th edition. So infantry, beast, swarm and mobile units, which is a new keyword, or models, sorry, not units, can move horizontally through dense terrain features. So that's ruins and other kind of pieces, trees and whatnot that are on these terrain features. It might be a container or something, maybe might be on these dense terrain features, but it kind of gives you that idea. Then infantry, beast, swarm models, not mobile units or models, can move vertically through dense terrain features. So they can go up and over, land on the top of the container, sit on the top of the first floor of the building, gain plunging fire, that sort of thing. Other models, i.e. Vehicles and whatnot, can move horizontally through dense terrain features, provided that all sections of that terrain feature that the model's base would move through are 2 inches or less in height. So it might be through the centre of the terrain feature across the plate. Otherwise, the moving model must move vertically to ascend or descend such sections. They can't go through ceilings and floors, so you have to go up, across and down, kind of extending the movement, which basically makes it impossible for nigh on any unit in the game to do so, and it's generally probably going to be quicker to go around than straight through, and easier to work out. And they can't end that kind of movement on any surface other than the ground floor. So fairly similar in most regards. The mobile is fairly similar to obviously how Shining Spears currently move. So they just ignore terrain features and models for movement purposes. Obviously this doesn't ignore models, but it does ignore kind of terrain and any impassable bit. So I imagine there's going to be some kind of clarification on what rule benefits you get on exposed and light and dense, and then kind of what you might see on them also within, as this is kind of 13.6 of terrain and movement, so I'm assuming there are other aspects of terrain to kind of find out about. So we then have the 3 Votann detachments. Again, I'm keeping everything on kind of one screen just for ease and speed and cross-referencing. So we have the Sagittarius Spearhead detachment, which kind of harkens back to the 9th edition version, where you could have your Sagittars scouting, because they had it innately. But now, in this detachment, Sagittarius units get Scout 6. You can then give them as an upgrade 3 of them, not the full 6 you can take, as they're dedicated transports. So yes, the 6 Sagittarius units build could exist once again. They can be given mobile, so they can move through terrain features, which is pretty powerful, as it makes kind of just movement much easier. You don't have to think as the kind of player with the model about how you're going to navigate round, and it kind of puts the onus on the opponent to consider the extra kind of lines of attack that this unit could come through. Yep, fairly powerful. Also quite useful the fact that this is going to obviously be on a 1-point detachment, and it will kind of come at the end onto which one this paired with might be interesting. End of your opponent's movement phase with the outflanking armour, you can use rapid ingress basically on 2 Sagittar. They make an ingress move, so they have to follow all the rules for their ingress move, but from second round onwards as well, you can't first round do it. Interestingly with this, because it's not rapid ingress, it means you can rapid ingress on top, so you could technically bring 3 in from reserve for 2 CP, which with their weapons might be an interesting thing as a full hit. It will depend on whether units can disembark from a transport when they come in from reserves, whether that's kind of allowed in the new edition, as they can come on, drop off. Even Hearthking warriors have enough guns to be annoying, but it also kind of, they have, you know, rail guns or a lot of autocannon equivalent kind of things at strength 7 with sustained, so yeah, could reinforce a flank pretty nicely. So that's the first one. Second one we then have is Farseekers, which kind of feels more in line with Eldar and Farseers, but there we go. We then have friendly Hernkin units get ranged attacks that target a unit within 12, have +1 to their hit rolls. This is specifically the Jaegers and the bikes units, the Pioneers. But again, particularly with the amount of shots that Pioneers put out, having +1 to hit is pretty nice. And then they have their Pans get Spectral Lock-On. Again, it's an upgrade, so you can put it on up to 3 Pioneer units. In your shooting phase, you can select 1 visible enemy unit within 12. That enemy unit is spotted. While spotted, that unit has +3 detection range, so you give the rest of the army kind of an 18-inch detection range rather than 15 against hidden. And then they have Scornful Analysis, 1 CP, start of the shooting phase, or your shooting phase specifically, sorry, you select 1 Hernkin unit, select 1 visible enemy unit within 12, and you get ignore cover against that unit, which is really powerful. Again, the only other way off the top of my head for Votann to do that is the Pan-Spectral Scanner ability that they have as a war gear upgrade. Whether that still exists, don't know. Maybe that's something they're changing, won't know until we see the rest of the rules. But the only other one is the Thunderkin once they've shot something, so yeah, an extra option for that in a 1 detachment point detachment with units that people take anyway is pretty solid. Whether you use the upgrade or not, I think is maybe less. You don't really want Pioneers within 12 as much as possible, because they don't live very long when they are, but they are pretty good at kind of killing chaff and similar. And then finally we have kind of the Hearthguard Covenant, which is the kind of rework of the Grotmas one, I assume. Avatars of the Ancestors, Friendly Carl, Einir Champion, Einir Hearthguard or Uthar. Their ranged attacks when they target a unit within 9 can reroll wound rolls, so it's not melee weapons, only ranged. You can't take it within a Hearthguard detachment. There is the enhancement for a Carl model only of High Carl. They basically get Fight on Death. It's the timing's slightly odd. So if it hasn't been selected to fight, roll a d6 on a 4-up. Do not remove that model from the battlefield after this unit has fought. So it kind of almost sounds like they wait their turn, but we'll have to wait to kind of see what the clarification is on Fight on Death rules. We then have Fury of the Hearth for 1 CP. It's in the shooting phase when a friendly Einhir Hearthguard unit is selected to shoot. That Einhir Hearthguard unit, their ranged weapons have +1 strength, and if you spend 1 yield point, sustained hits, which on the plasma and the kind of grenade launchers I think they are, or something similar, it is a lot of volume, which is quite terrifying, and kind of getting that +1 strength is always good, because I think the kind of grenade launchery weapon, which is, you know, a lot of shots, I think it's even D6, or it's either D3 or D6, and blast with sustained goes from strength 4 to strength 5 is pretty good. Then you have the plasma at strength 8 or 9, is going to do quite a lot of damage, especially with the volume of attacks and then re-rolling ones if you're in range. But yeah, so that's the 3 detachments. Again, kind of tells us they are greatly paired with Bramfast, which is the other transport one where you can jump in and out of transports. So you get to double down on abilities for transports. And then Hearthguard Covenant, you know, can go with any army. So it kind of almost makes it sound like none of theirs will be 3 detachment points, you could infer, but obviously that is guessing. And then you could obviously take them on your own if you really wanted to, as just the 3 1 points. And then we're kind of down to the last 2, which is Admech and Necrons, which kind of confirms what they said previously, that Imperial agents are not getting anything specific. They're going to continue to use their codex. It's a bit of a shame that they're not getting anything extra or kind of any kind of rework to kind of give them a bit more versatility, or an actual army rule, which I know is what people have clamoured for the entire time that they've been a codex. So it'll be interesting to see what direction they take that in 11th edition. We already have kind of seen in the 3rd live stream from Monday the Admech one with the kind of Forgefather ability on call, and the other big monstery thing. I can't remember their name at the moment, but it gives a 5-up Feel No Pain for Father of the Forge, I think it's called, or Lord of the Forge, something like that. So it'd be interesting to see what other kind of aspects those detachments bring, which once those are done kind of feels like we're going to get the rules very soon, which you know, we might get them as soon as, you know, this weekend, early next week. There might even be edition pre-order very soon, who knows. But yeah, I think there's some interesting aspects in that buff units you're already taking anyway, and kind of might get people to skew into 6 Sagittar, as most people that own Votann own 6 of the transport Sagittars, because if they played them in 9th, that was kind of the best way to run it. So might see that again. But yeah, we'll come down to points and the upgrade points and things like that as to how kind of viable. And yeah, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and see you for the next